Srila Prabhupada. Let's begin the session by chanting the prayers. Om Jnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanischa Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-vaibhava Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurtishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Manchakalpatarurvyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome all to Bhakti-vaibhava class. We are studying Srimad-bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, Son of Drona Punished. The name of that person is Ashvatthama. In that chapter, in the first 11 verses, we discussed how Srila Vyasadeva, when he sat down in meditation again at his ashram, after having received the audience of Sri Narad Muni and after having got some very invaluable instructions from Narad Muni, he not only saw the material energy of Krishna, but he also saw the Supreme Lord. And he saw the material energy in connection with the Supreme Lord. He saw Krishna, he saw Krishna's plenary portions, parts of plenary portions, he saw the living entities, he saw Krishna's internal energy, he saw Krishna's external energy, he saw the cause of suffering of the conditioned souls, and he also saw the remedy, the solution. The solution is that the conditioned souls should hear about Krishna. So finally he made up his mind to compile Srimad-bhagavatam. That's what he decided to do. We discussed up to that much, we discussed that day. Now let's start discussing verse 12 onwards, which you can see on your screen. Verse 12. Parikshitotha rajarshir janma karma vilapanam sanstham cha panduputranam bhakshe Krishna kathodayam. Suta Goswami thus addressed the rishis headed by Shanak. Now I shall begin the transcendental narration of whom? The transcendental narration of the Lord Shri Krishna and the topics of the birth, activities and deliverance of King Parikshit, the sage amongst kings, as well as topics of the renunciation of the worldly order by the sons of Pandu. Purport. Lord Krishna is so kind to the fallen souls that he personally incarnates himself amongst the different kinds of living entities and takes part with them in daily activities. Any historical fact, old or new, which has a connection with the activities of the Lord is to be understood as a transcendental narration of the Lord. Without Krishna, all the supplementary literatures like the Puranas and Mahabharata are simply stories or historical facts. But with Krishna, they become transcendental. And when we hear of them, we at once become transcendentally related with the Lord. Srimad-bhagavatam is also a Purana. But the special significance of this Purana is that the activities of the Lord are central and not just supplementary historical facts. Srimad-bhagavatam is thus recommended by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the spotless Purana. There is a class of less intelligent devotees of the Bhagavad Puran who desire to relish at once the activities of the Lord narrated in the 10th canto without first understanding the primary cantos. They are under the false impression that the other cantos are not concerned with Krishna, and thus more foolishly than intelligently they take to the reading of the 10th canto. These readers are specifically told herein that the other cantos of the Bhagavatam are as important as the 10th canto. No one should try to go into the matters of the 10th canto without having thoroughly understood the purport of the other 9 cantos. Krishna and his pure devotees like the Pandavas are on the same plane. Krishna is not without his devotees of all the rasas, and the pure devotees like the Pandavas are not without Krishna. The devotees and the Lord are interlinked and they cannot be separated. Therefore, talks about them are all Krishna Katha, all topics of the Lord. The intended message given by Srila Prabhupada here is that we should know anything related to Krishna is transcendental. Whether Krishna is dancing with Srimati Radharani, is having fun and loving pastimes with the gopis, or he is killing any demons, or he is engaged in the war of Kurukshetra with the Pandavas, everything about him is transcendental. Every single thing about him, about his different incarnations, whatever he does. So a devotee of Krishna should know about this absolute nature of Krishna's activities. For a mundane human being, some of his activities may be good and some of his activities may be bad. But there's nothing like bad when it comes to Krishna. Whatever he does, whether we may like it or we may not like it, or we may be attracted towards it or we may not be attracted towards it, they are all transcendental. And knowing about them, hearing about them from the right source is purifying in nature. It purifies the consciousness. Right? It doesn't depend on which story it is, which pastime it is, which episode it is, what is the context, who are all involved, doesn't matter. If it's about Krishna, it will purify the consciousness. That's why Prabhupada here mentions that less intelligent people who do not understand this, they directly jump to the 10th canto thinking these pastimes are very nice. And what is explained in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th till 9th canto, that is all boring, right? It's quite natural to think so, because when you will study 2nd canto of Srimad-bhagavatam, 1st canto is quite interesting, it has a lot of stories. But when you study 2nd canto is full of technical information, how the material world was created. And for someone who doesn't have that much of patience and capacity to study and read technical subject matters, they can easily get bored when it comes to studying 2nd canto. So much of information how the material world was created. But because that material world is created by Purusha avatar, and that Purusha avatar is an incarnation of Krishna, that's why knowing that subject matter is also purifying for the person who hears about it. It is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita only that any person who understands 3 Purushas, who are those 3 Purushas? Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. Anyone who understands just these 3 personalities and their activities becomes eligible for liberation. So benefit is there when we study the subject matter. That's why Prabhupada says you should go gradually. How gradually? so gradually that by the time one reaches 10th canto, one should be in that position that when we hear Krishna's loving pastime with the young girls of Vrindavan, not even an iota of lust should arise in our mind. That much purified we should become when we are studying 10th canto. And if we have not become that much purified, that means then we are not qualified to study 10th canto of Srimad-bhagavatam. If only we have become purified by hearing those pastimes, not even a little semblance of the so-called loving relationship between a girl and boy in this world comes in our mind, then we should know that we have become qualified to read 10th canto. Otherwise, we are not. Otherwise, what to do? Go back to first canto, start reading again, reach up to 9th canto, and then see what is my heart, what comes in my mind when I hear Krishna's pastime with young girls. And if my heart is pure, then I'll be able to enter into those pastimes and relish those pastimes on a transcendental plane. But if my heart is not pure, then I'll think them as some mundane romantic relationship. So then again go back to Canto 1. Start from there all over again. Same thing with Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes people think once I've read Bhagavad Gita, I'm done with it. Now I know Bhagavad Gita. But the result of Bhagavad Gita is what? When Krishna asked Arjuna, Arjuna, have you heard Bhagavad Gita with an attentive mind? Arjuna said, yes, all my illusion is gone. So then a reader of Bhagavad Gita after reading Bhagavad Gita should ask himself or herself, is my illusion completely gone? If not, go back to 1.1. Dhritarashtra Vacha, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samavetayu Sada. Go back and start it all over again. Because the result is not yet achieved. The result is not yet achieved. Same thing with Srimadbhagavatam. Go back to the beginning, back to basics. Text 13 and 14. Yada mride kaurava srinjayanam vireshvato viragatim gateshu vrikodaravid gadabhimarsha bhagno rudande dhitarashtraputre Bharatu priyam drauniriti sma pashyan Krishna sutanam supatam shiramsi upaharat vipriyam eva tasya jugupsitam karma vigarhayanti. When the respective warriors of both camps, namely the Kauravas and the Pandavas, were killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and the dead warriors obtained their deserved destinations, and when the son of Dhritarashtra fell down, lamenting, his spine broken, being beaten by the club of Bhimasen, the son of Dronacharya, Ashvatthama, beheaded the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi and delivered the heads as a prize to his master, foolishly thinking that he would be pleased. Duryodhana, however, disapproved of the heinous act, and he was not pleased in the least. So I hope you know this story. On the last day of Mahabharata war, when Duryodhana was beaten down by Bhima, they had a club fight, and everyone was watching that club fight. So you know this part that the rule was you cannot beat the person below thigh. You cannot beat the person below waist, basically. You cannot beat the person below waist. You can only beat on the upper part. So this was going on, and Bhima was not able to defeat Duryodhana because of the benediction given by Gandhari, Duryodhana's mother, and Krishna signaled to Duryodhana that you beat him on the thigh. You hit his thigh with the club. And Bhim went against the rules that were decided for the combat, and he bet Duryodhana below the waist. Because that portion was covered when Gandhari had casted her glance on Duryodhana's body, because that portion was covered, that portion was very weak, and Bhima's mace or club basically broke his thigh bones and also broke his spine. So after that, he was lying down on the ground, and it was night time. So there were wolves, jackals, all howling at distance because his blood was everywhere around. They could smell the blood, and Duryodhana was left alone there on the ground. He was crying in pain. At that time, the Pandavas went back to their camp. Somehow, these five Pandavas, they did not rest in the camp. They decided to go and attend one religious ceremony to declare the end of the war. The war has ended. Just before the war, they had to do some puja. So at the end of the war, also they were doing some puja. They left the tent and they went. So in the tent behind, there were only these five sons of Pandavas sleeping. They were not young boys or kids. They were 16-year-old boys, and they had participated in the battle. Actually, they had fought in the battle, and so they were sleeping in the camp. Ashvatthama entered the camp. He was not alone. He entered the camp with two more people. Kripacharya was there, Kritavarma was there, and Kripacharya and Kritavarma were told, "You guard the gate while I go inside and I kill the people who are inside." So when he went inside Ashvatthama, he saw five people are sleeping. He thought these five people are the five Pandavas. But those five were actually the five sons of Pandavas, born of Draupadi. So Ashvatthama wanted to take good, he wanted to make the best use of that opportunity. He thought, so easy it is now. You see, they are sleeping. I can easily kill the Pandavas. And after the end of the day, basically the Pandavas die. Duryodhana wins. And I'll take their head, I'll cut off their head and take and give to Duryodhana as a gift. You see, I've killed your enemies. So while the boys were sleeping, he slaughtered them. He cut their head off while they were sleeping. And it was dark, it was night, so he was not really sure whether they are Pandavas or someone else. But when he's killed them and when he grabbed their heads in his hand, he found that they are not the Pandavas because their heads were pretty small. Small head because they were boys and not of grown-up men. So now he thought what to do. These are not Pandavas, I have killed these boys. But then he got this idea, Duryodhana won't be able to notice that these are not Pandavas. So let me just take them and take these heads and make Duryodhana happy. So he collected those heads and went to Duryodhana and gave to Duryodhana. So what did Duryodhana do? He took those heads in his hands and he crushed them, crushed the skull. He was so strong that he could crush the skull. So when he crushed the skull, all the skulls broke. And then Duryodhana said, these cannot be the Pandavas because they are not so weak. And if let's say I can break the skull of 4, I cannot break the skull of the 5th person. Who is that? Bhim. I cannot break his skull. But I could break very easily the skulls of all these 5. They are not Pandavas. So then he asked Ashvatthama, tell me the truth, whose head did you bring? Whose head did you bring? And then Ashvatthama had to admit, I was actually lying to you, I wanted to make you happy, I brought you the heads of the 5 sons of Pandavas. When Duryodhana heard that, he became very sad, very sad. He became very unhappy. He said to Ashvatthama, I did not expect you to do such a nonsense act. Why did you destroy our whole dynasty? Okay, I lost and Pandavas won. So that is between 2 of us. But why did you destroy our entire dynasty? Now who will carry on with this dynasty? Abhimanyu is dead, he was killed in the battle, and these 5 are the only heirs left. There is no one left from Kuru's side. Only these 5 boys are left from Pandava's side. Now you have killed them. Who is going to carry it forward? Who is going to carry forward the whole lineage? And Ashvatthama, he thought that what kind of person is this Duryodhana? I did something so nice, instead of being grateful, he is chastising me. Ashvatthama was very happy to kill them because Ashvatthama thought, this dynasty has always given so much of trouble to my father Dronacharya. And because of this dynasty, my father Dronacharya had to die. So he wanted to take a revenge basically. By destroying the whole dynasty, he wanted to revenge for his father's death. That's what's going on in Ashvatthama's mind. So he told Duryodhana that, why are you so sad with me and angry with me? I did it for you. You are my friend. And Duryodhana said, better not to have a friend like you. Better not to have a friend like you. So that's explained here in this verse by Suta Goswami. Duryodhana, however, disapproved of the heinous act, and he was not pleased in the least. Transcendental topics of the activities of Lord Shri Krishna in the Srimad-bhagavatam begin from the end of the battle at Kurukshetra, where the Lord himself spoke about himself in the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, both the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad-bhagavatam are transcendental topics of Lord Krishna. The Gita is Krishna Katha, or topics of Krishna, because it is spoken by the Lord. And the Bhagavatam is also Krishna Katha, because it is spoken about the Lord. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted everyone to be informed of both Krishna Kathas by his order. Lord Krishna Chaitanya is Krishna himself in the garb of a devotee of Krishna. And therefore, the versions of both Lord Krishna and Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are identical. Lord Chaitanya desired that all who are born in India seriously understand such Krishna Kathas, and then after full realization, preach the transcendental message to everyone in all parts of the world. That will bring about the desired peace and prosperity of the stricken world. Next verse. Mata shishunam nidhanam sutanam nishamya ghoram paritapyamana tadarudat vashpavakala kulakshi tam sattva yannaha kiritamali. Draupadi, the mother of the 5 children of the Pandavas, after hearing of the massacre of her sons, began to cry in distress with eyes full of tears. Trying to pacify her in her great loss, Arjuna spoke to her thus. So they all were children of Draupadi. She had one child from each Pandava. So she had 5 sons, and they all died. So she was sad, she was crying. Tada suchaste ramrijami bhadre yad brahma bandho shiratatayinaha gandiva mukter vishikher upahare tvakramya yatsnasi siddhagda putra. O gentle lady, when I present you with the head of that Brahmana after beheading him with arrows from my Gandiv bow, I shall then wipe the tears from your eyes and pacify you. Then after burning your sons' bodies, you can take your bath standing on his head. Why is Arjuna trying to pacify Draupadi like this? Because Draupadi is a Kshatrani. So if you want to pacify a lady who is of nature of a Kshatriya, you have to speak in her language. Right? Not, of course, women as one class can be considered as one type, and men as one class can be considered as another type. But not all women are same, and not all men are same. Based on their nature, whether they are Brahmanical or Kshatriya nature or Vaishya nature or Shudra nature, they have different propensities, their different way of thinking, their different way of reacting. Because Draupadi is a Kshatrani, Arjuna is speaking such kind of words to pacify her. If, let's say, this would have happened with a Brahmani, a lady who is the wife of a Brahmana, then that Brahmana would not have spoken such words to pacify her, that I'll go and kill all these people and bring you the heads of all these people. A Brahmani would say, what will I do with the heads? What will I do with the head of such a person? But because she is Kshatrani, her nature is like that, Arjuna is speaking like that to pacify her. This is something important for us to understand. When we are counseling people, when we are guiding people, suggesting them, helping them, we have to know people's nature. It's very important, because not all in this world understand the same language. You have to speak to someone as per the language that person understands. Krishna is an expert in that. When you read Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has to drive only one point home when he's talking to Arjuna. And what is that one point? You fight Arjuna. That's the only point that he has to tell Arjuna. There's nothing else, right? Arjuna is saying, I'm confused, what should I do? And Krishna has to just tell in one sentence, Arjuna, fight. Not even sentence, 2 words, Arjuna, fight. Finish. But But in order to convince Arjuna about the importance of this, he speaks to Arjuna from so many different angles. You fight because you are Atma. You fight because they are Atma. You fight because you are Kshatriya, it is your duty. You fight because even if you die while fighting, you'll go to heaven. You fight because if you kill them and they die, they will go to heaven. You fight because I am telling you to fight. You fight because if you don't fight, you'll become infamous. So he is speaking to Arjuna in different languages, the same thing. Whatever Arjuna you want to accept, you fight. Then Arjuna says, I don't accept all this philosophy. Then he's saying whether you accept the philosophy of Buddha, whether you accept the philosophy of Gautama, whether you accept the philosophy of the logicians, whether you accept the philosophy of Charvaka, you fight. But you fight. Why is he speaking like that? Because he wants to convince Arjuna. And he's thinking, if Arjuna is going to think like this is my argument. If Arjuna is going to think like that, that's my argument. Likewise, when we have to tell people what they should be doing, we first should know what kind of person is this and what kind of language will be able to penetrate into the heart of this person. Then speak in that language. If you speak in some other language, your message may be correct, your intention may be correct, but that person will not understand that language. So it's very important to know people and then talk to them based on what they will understand. Here Arjuna is doing the same with Draupadi. She is a Shatrani. So in order to pacify Draupadi is not doing something like what a hero of some Bollywood movie would do. Take her, make her sit on the lap, and then remove the tears from her face and then say, please don't cry, No, he's saying you are angry about it, you are sad about it. Let me go kill this person and bring the head of this person. And then you stand on the head. And that will pacify you. Because she is Shatrani, she wants to take revenge. And Arjuna is speaking in that language. I'll do that for you. I shall wipe the tears from your eyes and pacify. So he's saying, first I'll bring that fellow and then I'll wipe your tears and pacify you. An enemy who sets fire to the house, administers poison, attacks all of a sudden with deadly weapons, plunders wealth, or usurps agricultural fields, or entices one's wife is called an aggressor. Such an aggressor, though he may be a Brahmana or a so-called son of a Brahmana, has to be punished in all circumstances. When Arjuna promised to behead the aggressor named Ashvatthama, he knew well that Ashvatthama was the son of a Brahmana. But because the so-called Brahmana acted like a butcher, he was taken as such. And there was no question of sin in killing such a Brahmana's son who proved to be a villain. Text 17. Iti priyam valgu vichitra jalpehi sasant chitamitra sutaha anvad Dravadangshita ugradhanva kapitvajo guruputram rathen. Arjuna, who is guided by the infallible Lord as friend and driver, thus satisfied the dear lady by such statements. So when Arjuna spoke like that, Draupadi became little satisfied, little peaceful. Okay, so we are going to take revenge for this. Then he dressed in armor and armed himself with furious weapons. And getting into his chariot, he set out to follow Ashvatthama, the son of his martial teacher. So Arjuna immediately left along with Krishna to find Ashvatthama. Tamapatantam savilakshya durat kumarahodvignamanaratena paradravat prana paripsururvyam yavad kamam rudrabhayadyatakaha. Ashvatthama, the murderer of the princess, seeing from a great distance Arjuna coming at him with great speed, fled in his chariot, panic-stricken, just to save his life, as Brahma fled in fear from Shiva. Purport. According to the reading matter, either Kaha or Arkaha, there are two references in the Puranas. Kaha means Brahma, who once became allured by his daughter and began to follow her, which infuriated Shiva, who attacked Brahma with his trident. Brahmaji fled in fear of his life. As far as Arka is concerned, there is a reference in the Vamana Purana. There was a demon by the name Vidyunmali who was gifted with a glowing golden airplane which traveled to the back of the sun, and night disappeared because of the glowing effulgence of this plane. Thus the sun god became angry, and with his virulent rays he melted the plane. This enraged Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva then attacked the sun god, who fled away and at last fell down at Kashi, Varanasi, and the place became famous as Lolarka. So Prabhupada is giving here in the purport two episodes, depending on how do we take the Sanskrit meaning of the word Arkaha. So either it can mean Brahma or it can mean Surya. So then he's giving two incidents where Brahmaji fled in fear from Shiva, and another is when Surya fled in fear from Shiva. Two different pastimes. Next verse. Yada sharanam atmanam ekshat shanta vajinam astram brahma shiro mene atmatranam dijatmajaha. When the son of the Brahmana Ashvatthama saw that his horses were tired, he considered that there was no alternative for protection outside of his using the ultimate weapon, the Brahmastra nuclear weapon. So Arjuna is chasing Ashvatthama, Ashvatthama is running, but Arjuna is catching up with Ashvatthama, and Ashvatthama is thinking, today I'll be dead. I'm gone now. Arjuna will kill me. I cannot be saved. And his horses had become weak by running. They were panting heavily, and Ashvatthama could make out, I am not going to survive for long. So in that state, what happens when a person is afraid? When a person is afraid, then a person loses good intelligence. Then a person tries to save himself or herself by hook or crook. Something a person wants to do. So he thought at this moment, the only way to protect myself is, I have the deadliest weapon called Brahmastra. Let me release that Brahmastra. And using that, I can finish everything. So Prabhupada writes a purport on this. We'll read that, and then we'll also have some nice discussion on this topic. In the ultimate issue, only when there is no alternative, the nuclear weapon called the Brahmastra is applied. The word Dvijatmaja is significant here because Ashvatthama, although the son of Dronacharya, was not exactly a qualified Brahmana. The most intelligent man is called a Brahmana. It's not a hereditary title. Ashvatthama was also formally called the Brahma Bandhu, or the friend of a Brahmana. Being a friend of a Brahmana does not mean that one is a Brahmana by qualification. A friend or son of a Brahmana, when fully qualified, can be called a Brahmana and not otherwise. Since Ashvatthama's decision is immature, it's purposely called here in the son of a Brahmana. It's being said, Dvija Atmajaha. Dvija Atmajaha means the son of a Brahmana. Dvijatma means Brahman. Jaha means Janma, means taken birth. So the son of a Brahmana. And it's being told in a sarcastic manner that, you see, look at him. Though he is the son of a Brahmana, he did not behave like a Brahmana. What shows he did not behave like a Brahmana? To lose patience and to lose the ability to make the right decision when things are not going correct in life. That shows that one is not a Brahmana. A Brahmana is someone who is cool-headed. Cool-headed means things may go topsy-turvy, but that person does not lose patience. That person doesn't lose intelligence. That person doesn't lose his or her character in that situation. But if a person loses that, that person is not Brahmana, not really stable, not situated in goodness. That person is either in passion, or that person is either in ignorance. Here, what Ashvatthama is doing in mode of ignorance. Why mode of ignorance? He is going to do something which is going to cause destruction, heavy destruction. That means there is ignorance there, heavy destruction. So this shows basically, Srila Prabhupada was always very emphatic about it, that Brahmana means Brahmana by quality, Brahmana means Brahmana by quality. Brahmana means Brahmana by quality. Quality, that's the most important thing to see. A Brahmana has a quality, a Vaishya has a quality, Shudra has a quality, Kshatriya has a quality, a Vaishnava has quality. And by quality, we are able to know who is actually who. Not by external dress, not by external appearance, or what they can speak or they can show. It's by the quality. And how do you know the quality of a person? When that person is tested through difficult times in life, then you actually know who that person is. It's very easy to be good when everything is good, but it's very difficult to be good when everything is bad. But one who proves to be good in those bad times is actually good. Is actually good. Like the story of Ranti Dev, you must have heard the story of Ranti Dev from Srimad-bhagavatam, that he was fasting for 40 days, did not eat anything, did not drink anything. And when then he sat down to eat his prasadam, so many different people came, I won't tell you the detail, and then they said, we are hungry. And he had to share his food. Finally, only one glass of water was left, and then another person came and had to give that also. He did not lose his patience. He did not cry cry looking at the sky. Why this is happening with me? For 40 days I did not eat and drink. Now you are not allowing me to eat and drink even once. Why is it happening with me? No, he did not. So there it's written that he was someone who had actually developed the quality of tolerance to an extreme level, because he showed that even such a disturbing situation did not disturb him. That's how a person is tested, and that's how Krishna will also test us. Krishna will put us in situations where we will be forced to think ourselves, did I behave in a way a devotee should be behaving in this situation or no? Right? Did I act in a way a devotee should be acting in such a situation or no? And then we don't have to tell others, but at least we will know ourselves that I am not that kind of devotee which I generally think I am. I'm not there yet. I'm still quite behind. Why? Because I don't act the way a devotee should be acting. I don't behave the way a devotee should be behaving. I don't. When we think like that, then we become humble. We are forced to become humble. That I used to think so great about myself, but actually I am not there yet. So one becomes humble then. So Krishna also puts devotees to such tests, situations like that. His Holiness Bhakti Maharaj used to give a wonderful example. He used to say, orange is a juicy fruit. And how do you know it has juice? You squeeze it, then juice will come out. Right? Then he used to say, whatever is inside us comes out when life squeezes us. If you are a good person, when life will squeeze you, then goodness will come out, kindness will come out, compassion will come out. But if your inside is not good, externally it may be good, but inside is not good, when life will squeeze us, then all the bad things will start coming out. So that's how a person is tested. Ashvatthama was tested here, he failed. He proved not to be a Brahmana. Reading further. Atho pasprishya salilam sandadesa tat samahitaha ajanannapi sangharam pranakrishra upasthite. Since his life was in danger, he touched water in sanctity and Ashvatthama was told only how to release Brahmastra, but he was not told how to withdraw Brahmastra. Whereas Arjuna was given full knowledge how to release Brahmastra as well as how to withdraw Brahmastra. Both was taught to Arjuna, and only half thing was taught to Ashvatthama. Now, why half was given? Why not full? Actually, Dronacharya was not willing to give that half knowledge also, because Dronacharya knew Ashvatthama is not qualified to receive this knowledge. He gave this knowledge only to Arjuna. But the problem is that Ashvatthama came to know that my father taught Arjuna something which he did not teach me. And then he went and then he complained to his mother. You see, look at him, look at my father. He's not teaching me and he's teaching Arjuna. Arjuna is not even his son, and I am his son. Why is he not teaching me? So then the mother went to father and said, you see, what is this? You are not teaching your son. And emotional blackmail, what can be done? So then she was doing that. So then Dronacharya said, okay, let me teach. So then he taught half thing he gave. Okay, you know how to release Brahmastra. And Ashvatthama became very excited. Now I also know, I am like Arjuna now, because I also know how to shoot Brahmastra. So he's doing that here now. But why Dronacharya did not teach Ashvatthama? Because Dronacharya knew this fellow does not have patience. This person doesn't know when to use it, when not to use it. He doesn't know. So he did not want to teach him. This is so important for modern people to understand. In the modern times, people are fools that they promote mass education. But they don't know, not everyone in this world is qualified for education. They don't know. For people to use education properly, first they should have good character. If they don't have good character, and you make them doctor, engineer, IIT, and what are they going to do? They are only going to cheat people and loot people by their knowledge. And that's what is happening. That's what is happening. Instead of using the knowledge to serve people, people are using that same knowledge to cheat people, to exploit people. Rather than doing good to them, they are actually doing bad to them. That's what is going on, because there is no character. In fact, it is taught in MBA colleges, the more smartly you can cheat people and make money out of them, that good you are in management. That good you are in management. It's just like a thief will, steal away the wallet and not even let the person know that the wallet is gone. That's how. So how can you be a smart thief? Right? Rather than calling a smart thief, you call them MBAs. Right? Rather than calling them smart thieves, you call them MBAs. Then how can we cheat people? Not really serve people, cheat them. So this is going on in modern times so much. And we read about scams and scandals and all this coming up in newspapers, different people in different professions. They are doing it. Whole system, top to bottom, is full of corruption, bureaucracy, hypocrisy, cheating, lying, fraud, scams, so much. And all done by not those people who are uneducated, all done by degree holders, educated people, everyone. And what to speak of not people educated in India, they go to abroad, bring big degrees, and still they do the same thing. Right? So in the Vedic times, people did not give education, that's why, to anyone and everyone. They first tested the mettle of the person. Is this person qualified to receive this knowledge? Will this person use this knowledge in the right way or not? If yes, the knowledge was given. If no, then bye-bye. Not allowed. You're not ready for it. So that is gone now. Now in the name of, being compassionate, broad-minded, equality in society, let's educate everyone. Everyone should be given an opportunity to study. And if you say them, no, they may misuse it, then they will say, this is wrong, this is bad. If you don't teach them, then how will they improve? How will they change? If you want to change them, then change them by giving them first spiritual education, because material education cannot bring transformation of heart. Transformation of heart will come by spiritual education. Let them do some tapasya, let them do some punya karma, let them do some bhakti, let them study Gita, Bhagavatam, then there will be change of heart. By studying English, geography, history, what change of heart will be there? No change of heart. Heart will not change. So here Dronacharya knew that, and that's why he did not give this knowledge fully to Ashvatthama. He gave it partially, that also because he wanted. The subtle forms of material activities are finer than grosser methods of material manipulation. Such subtle forms of material activities are effected through purification of sound. The same method is adopted here by chanting hymns to act as nuclear weapons. Next verse. ततः प्रादुष्कृतं तेजः प्रचण्डं सर्वतो दिशं प्राणापदम् अभिप्रेक्ष्य विष्णुं जिष्णुरुवाचः. Thereupon a glaring light spread in all directions. It was so fierce that Arjuna thought his own life in danger. And so he began to address Lord Shri Krishna. Right? Ashvatthama got in trouble, he remembered Brahmastra. Arjuna got in trouble, he remembered Krishna. That's the difference. Devotee, non-devotee difference. Ashvatthama in trouble, remembering Brahmastra. Arjuna in trouble, remembering Krishna. Is Arjuna not having a Brahmastra? He also has a Brahmastra. He can also use a Brahmastra. But instead of thinking of Brahmastra first, he is thinking of Krishna. It's not that he is not skillful enough, qualified enough to solve the problem independently. He is. He has the solution. In fact, when he'll ask Krishna, what is the solution? It's not that Krishna is going to tell Arjuna, you stand here, I'll solve the problem for you. No. Krishna will tell Arjuna, you already have a Brahmastra, use it, Arjuna. So Arjuna has the solution with him. But instead of depending on the solution, he chose to depend on Krishna. So that's a lesson for us. Sometimes when problems come in life, what happens is we think, I already know the solution. No. My intelligence is going to help me. My mind is going to help me. My people around me are going to help me. And we think, I have to really get into a helpless situation to take help from Krishna. Without that situation coming in life, why should I depend on Krishna? I will depend on something else or someone else. But here Arjuna can give logical reasons here not to depend on Krishna and depend on his own ability, because he knows how to shoot a Brahmastra. He has Brahmastra. But still he thought of Krishna and began to address Lord Shri Krishna. Arjuna uvacha Krishna Krishna Mahabaho Bhaktanam Abhyankara Tvam Eko Dayyamananam Apavargosi Sansite. Bhaktanam Abhyankara. Such a nice way of telling. You, Abhyankara means, Abhaya means fearlessness, Kara means you do. You make your bhaktas, your devotees, Abhaya. Krishna Krishna Mahabaho. O mighty armed one Krishna, you make your devotees fearless. Tam eka dahyamananam apavarga asi sansritehe. Arjuna said, O my Lord Shri Krishna, you are the almighty personality of Godhead. There is no limit to your different energies. Therefore, only you are competent to instill fearless in the hearts of your devotees. Everyone in the flames of material miseries can find the path of liberation in you only. So he's indirectly telling Krishna, you remove fear from my heart, because you can remove fear. Remove fear from my heart. And this is a very gentle and civilized way of talking. Here Arjuna could have said, Krishna Krishna Mahabaho, you have mighty armed Lord, you have multiple energies, remove fear from my heart. But instead of saying remove fear from my heart, he's telling remove fear from the heart of your devotees. He's a devotee, he's not a non-devotee. But instead of bringing himself into the limelight and picture, he's speaking in a way that you do it for your devotees and I am also included there. I'm included there. You remove the fear in the hearts of your devotees. I'm included there. It's natural to conclude that. But this is how people in the past used to talk. Instead of bringing themselves into the picture, they would speak indirectly. Not directly, instead of bringing themselves into the picture. But modern times, people don't understand this. They don't. If you speak like this, then they will not understand the language. Then they will think that this person is talking about someone else. Right? But in the Vedic times, this is how people used to speak. They would try so much to keep themselves out of the scene and make it very direct. So he's saying, in the hearts of your devotees, you produce fearlessness, which means in my heart also you produce fearlessness now. Purport. Arjuna was aware of the transcendental qualities of Lord Shri Krishna as he had already experienced them during the Kurukshetra war, in which both of them were present. Therefore, Arjuna's version of Lord Krishna is authoritative. Krishna is almighty and is especially the cause of fearlessness for the devotees. A devotee of the Lord is always fearless because of the protection given by the Lord. Material existence is something like a blazing fire in the forest, which can be extinguished by the mercy of Lord Shri Krishna. The spiritual master is the mercy representative of the Lord. Therefore, a person burning in the flames of material existence may receive the rains of mercy of the Lord through the transparent medium of the self-realized spiritual master. The spiritual master, by his words, can penetrate into the heart of the suffering person and inject knowledge transcendental, which alone can extinguish the fire of material existence. The fire in the forest gets extinguished by the rain coming down from the clouds. Similarly, the fire which is burning in the heart of the conditioned souls gets extinguished by the shower of divine words coming from the mouth of pure devotees of Krishna. Words are like the rain, the pure devotee is like the cloud, and what is the fire? Three things are there. We discussed this before. What are those three things? Shoka, Moha, Bhayapaha. The fire of lamentation, the fire of illusion, and the fire of fear. Shoka, Moha, Bhayapaha. Our heart burns with these three fires: lamentation, fear, and illusion. And the words coming from the mouth of a pure devotee of Krishna act like downpour of rain to extinguish these fires which are burning in the heart. And this is so true. I have seen this with so many people, even newcomers. They say when they read a book of Srila Prabhupada, or they come to a temple and they sit in some Bhagavatam class and they just hear that class for half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour, or they go to some satsang program. They say, after I come from the program, I feel so light, I feel so peaceful, I feel so calm. I feel so much of my anxiety is gone. They feel so. Why they feel so? Because those words coming out from the mouth of devotees are transcendental sound vibrations that make the heart, very, very satisfied. And this burning sensation from the heart goes away. Otherwise, who don't do practice Krishna consciousness, we should know one thing: their heart burns badly because of so much of impurity inside. Envy is there, lust is there, anger is there, greed is there, and it makes their heart very, very, sick. Their heart is sick because of these things. Just like you see, if you travel by train sometimes, you'll come across some industrial areas and there are big factories with chimneys and smoke coming out of those chimneys. Isn't it? You have seen? So people who are non-devotees, there's so much of smoke coming out from their heart. Their heart is burning. So much smoke is coming out. Very, very bad smelling. And they are pained by that. They are suffering because of that. But if they pay attention to Krishna Katha, then all that burning sensation will go away. All that burning sensation will go away. Otherwise, the heart will burn badly. Lust will make it burn. Anger will make it burn. Envy will make it burn. Greed will make it burn. Right? Next verse. Tam adhyah purushah sakshat Ishvarah prakrite parah mayam yudasya chit shaktya kaivalye sthita atmane. You are the original personality of Godhead who expands himself all over the creations and is transcendental to material energy. You have cast away the effects of the material energy by dint of your spiritual potency. You are always situated in eternal bliss and transcendental knowledge. Now, when you read such shlokas, don't you think about this one point? Why is Arjuna spending so much time glorifying Krishna? There's such an emergency problem, come to the point, no? Just tell Krishna, Krishna save me. You know, right? I mean, in such a situation, if someone is releasing, let's say, an atom bomb on you, which means you just have, I mean, in a second you will be gone. You will be disappeared from the face of earth. You know? In that situation also, Arjuna has patience to glorify Krishna. That shows how much forbearance he has and how much peace, how much, stability of mind he has. Otherwise, in that situation, what will an ordinary person do? Jump to the feet of Krishna and say, protect me, Krishna. I mean, that's all he can say, nothing more than that. But Arjuna here is taking out time to properly glorify Krishna. That shows only a person with a very, very stable and steady mind, undisturbed mind, someone who is sthita pragya, can act like this. Only a sthita pragya can act like this. Not disturbed. He's not, you can see his words, it's not that he's fumbling and he's speaking incorrectly or illogically. He's speaking very well. He's praying in a very nice manner, glorifying Krishna in a nice manner. You are the original personality of Godhead who expands himself all over the creations and is transcendental to material energy. If Krishna says, how can I protect you from Brahmastra? Arjuna is saying, what is Brahmastra? It is one of your energies and you are the controller of your energy. So why you can't protect? You can easily protect. You have cast away the effects of the material energy by dint of your spiritual potency. You are always situated in eternal bliss and transcendental knowledge. Purport. The Lord states in the Bhagavad Gita that one who surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Lord can get released from the clutches of naysayers. Krishna is just like the sun, and the Maya or material existence is just like darkness. Wherever there is the light of the sun, darkness or ignorance at once vanishes. The best means to get out of the world of ignorance is suggested here. The Lord is addressed herein as the original personality of Godhead. From him, all other personalities of Godhead expand. The all-pervasive Lord Vishnu is Lord Krishna's plenary portion of expansion. The Lord expands himself in innumerable forms of Godhead and living beings along with his different energies. But Sri Krishna is the original primeval Lord from whom everything emanates. The all-pervasive feature of the Lord experienced within the manifested world is also a partial representation of the Lord. Paramatma therefore is included within him. He is the absolute personality of Godhead. He has nothing to do with the actions and reactions of the material manifestation because he is far above the material creation. Darkness is a perverse representation of the sun, and therefore the existence of darkness depends on the existence of the sun. But in the sun proper, there is no trace of darkness, as the sun is full of light only. Similarly, the absolute personality of Godhead beyond the material existence is full of bliss. He is not only full of bliss, but also full of transcendental variegatedness. Transcendence is not at all static, but full of dynamic variegatedness. He is distinct from the material nature, which is complicated by the three modes of material nature. He is Parama, or the chief, therefore he is absolute. He has manifold energies, and through his diverse energies, he creates, manifests, maintains, and destroys the material world. In his own abode, however, everything is eternal and absolute. The world is not conducted by the energies or powerful agents by themselves, but by the potent, all-powerful, with all energies. Text 24. स एव जीवलोकस्य मायामोहितचेतसः विधत्से स्वेन वीर्येण श्रेयो धर्मादिलक्षणम्. And yet, though you are beyond the purview of the material energy, you execute the four principles of liberation, characterized by religion, and so on, for the ultimate good of the conditioned soul. So here, Krishna's all-merciful nature is being emphasized. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, descends to the manifested world without being influenced by the material modes of nature. He is eternally beyond the material manifestations. He descends out of his causeless mercy only to reclaim the fallen souls who are captivated by the illusory energy. They are attacked by the material energy and they want to enjoy her under false pretexts. Although in essence the living entity is unable to enjoy. One is eternally the servitor of the Lord, and when he forgets this position, he thinks of enjoying the material world. But factually he is in illusion. The Lord descends to eradicate this false sense of enjoyment and thus reclaim conditioned souls back to Godhead. That is the all merciful nature of the Lord for the fallen souls. Text 5:25. Tathayam chavataraste bhuvo bhara jihirshaya swanam chananya bhavanam anudhyanaya chasakrit. Thus you descend as an incarnation to remove the burden of the world and to benefit your friends, especially those who are your exclusive devotees and are constantly wrapped in meditation upon you. It appears that the Lord is partial to his devotees. Everyone is related with the Lord. He is equal to everyone, and yet he is more inclined to his own men and devotees. The Lord is everyone's father, no one can be his father, and yet no one can be his son. His devotees are his kinsmen, and his devotees are his relations. This is his transcendental pastime. It has nothing to do with mundane ideas of relations, fatherhood, or anything like that. As mentioned above, the Lord is above the modes of material nature, and thus there is nothing mundane about his kinsmen and relations in devotional service. Kim idam switkuto veti deva deva navedmayam sarvato mukhamayati tejah paramadarunam. O Lord of Lords, how is that this dangerous effulgence is spreading all around? Where does it come from? I do not understand it. So he's saying that, first of all, he prays to Krishna, he glorifies Krishna. He says, you give fearlessness, you are transcendental, you are all merciful, and you descend to help the poor souls. You take avatar. So he glorifies Krishna in this way. 22, 23, 24, 25. Now in this verse 26, he's saying, he's asking a question. How is that this dangerous effulgence is spreading all around? Which means, what is this happening? I don't understand. Where does it come from? I do not understand it. So again, look at this. He's not coming to the direct question or direct request that please save me, please protect me. He's asking about that problem, and then he's inquiring where does it come from. Purport. Anything that is presented before the personality of God, it should be so done after due presentation of respectful prayer. So that is the method. Prabhupada has put that as a lesson, that whatever you present before the Lord, present it with respectful prayers first. Why? Because that's the etiquette. When you approach someone great, you don't make a request directly. First of all, you have to tell that person something to please that person, satisfy that person, and then you make a request. Then you ask something to that person. That's a culture also. Now you see, in the modern times, people don't understand these things. That's why they find it very difficult to relate with it. In the Vedic times or in the civilized society, asking anyone for a favor is considered to be very, very, unworthy act. Like, I have to ask someone to give me money. I want to ask someone to give me, food. I ask someone to give me education. Ask someone to give me a house. Ask someone to help me. So in the Vedic times, people would consider it really, really, against their principle to ask someone for something material. And they would think it's like really going low to do that, which is nowadays it has become a very common thing that people ask people for things without any shame or without any hesitation. But that's not how it was in the Vedic times. So how would they, even if they have to make a request, how would they make a request? They would not make a request right on the face. That would not be the first thing. If they had to make a request also, they would do it indirectly. They would do it indirectly because they would feel that embarrassment or shame in asking directly. They would do it indirectly, or they would do it not as the first opening statement. They would do it after speaking about some other different subject matters, and then bringing it, somewhere in between, in a very, very smart way, a diplomatic way. And if the other person is not so positive about it, they would immediately change the topic and forget about it. Not make the other person feel also that you asked me something and I did not give it to you, and putting that person in an awkward position. Because when you ask someone, let's say you are asking a gentleman for someone, and that gentleman is generally not in the position to give to you, that person will feel bad that this person asked me and I could not give. So people in the Vedic times, they were so careful that let me ask, and if this person is not very comfortable, let me also not make this person feel bad that he did not give or he had to deny it to me. So they would do it in a very, very, expert manner. And that's why here we can see Arjuna, first of all, he glorifies Krishna. It doesn't come to the point directly. He first glorifies Krishna. First speaks well of Krishna, and in that glorification, I did not go into depth, but there is so much which Arjuna is trying to say there. Like if someone will say, why are you praying to Krishna? I mean, is this not wrong that Krishna is father for you, Krishna is father for Ashvatthama, so why should Krishna help you? Why should Krishna be on your side? So Arjuna is making the point here that, you are transcendental, so you are not really biased like a mundane person, that you will favor some person, you will not favor another person. You are transcendental. Whatever you do is all good. He's saying so. And in the previous verse, he made this point also, that you descend as an incarnation and to benefit your friends. And then he said, those who are your exclusive devotees and are constantly wrapped in meditation with you, you show them special favor. That's what Prabhupada elaborates in the purport, that Krishna shows special favors to those who are his devotees. So Arjuna is basically trying to remove all the misconceptions a person may get by reading this episode of Arjuna being helped by Krishna in such a situation. People may think, just like a normal mundane man will help his friend, Krishna in that way helped Arjuna. But Arjuna makes it clear, not that Krishna is mundane, not that Krishna's help is mundane. This is again a pastime of Krishna. If Krishna helps me, in whatever way. So he's first clearing all that misconception that may arise. And then he's saying, oh Lord of Lords, how is that this dangerous effulgence is spreading all around? Where does it come from? I do not understand. But anything that is presented before the personality of Godhead should be so done after due presentation of respectful prayers. That is the standard procedure. And Sri Arjuna, although an intimate friend of the Lord, is observing this method for general information. Is observing this method. Is observing this etiquette for general information. Maybe I told this to you before. I did not, perhaps. Like, I get really irritated when people write a message to me and don't say the greeting Hare Krishna. I really get irritated. Because I think you don't have time to start the talk with the Hare Krishna. I mean, can you be so busy that you don't have time to begin the talk with Hare Krishna? People will just throw questions to you. What is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? And no Hare Krishna. Right? So why so? I mean, at least begin with a cordial, gentle, warm greeting. That even materialistic people do. They also do this. In the morning, they'll tell each other, good morning, hello, hi, how are you? Right? Even they do so. So why can't devotees have so much of patience that at least open the message with Hare Krishna? Write Hare Krishna to people. It's not that by writing Hare Krishna so many times we'll go to hell. No. Or by writing Hare Krishna it's an aparadh, offense. No. Right? There's nothing wrong about it. Even if you say 10 times Hare Krishna, I'm sure that devotee will not feel offended that why are you saying Hare Krishna so many times? But they don't. I mean, how is that? You just throw a message to someone like that. But here Prabhupada is saying that when you speak to the Supreme Lord, it should be started with some prayers. So when you are speaking to some devotee, okay, no need to pray, but at least say Hare Krishna. Say Hare Krishna. Simple. It doesn't take much time. Nowadays, if you type Hare Krishna so many times in your phone, then you just say HA and Hare will come. And you say KR, Krishna will come. You don't have to do the extra effort of putting all the letters also. Right? Isn't it? All this automatic typing program is there in the mobile phone. If you type one word very often, then that word pops up automatically. Right? And you don't have to type the whole word. So you just say HA and Hare will come. Say KR, Krishna will come. And you type. But still no time. Not really serious about that etiquette. So here, reading further 27. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Vete Dandrona Putrasya Brahmamastram Pradashitam Naivaso Veda Samharam Pranabada Upasthite. The Supreme Personality of God itself. Know from me that this is the act of the son of Drona. He has thrown the hymns of nuclear energy, Brahmastra, and he does not know how to retract the glare. He has helplessly done this, being afraid of imminent death. So he was afraid, and in fear, a person does many things. Insane things also sometimes. So in fear, he has done this. In fear. Fear can be subtle, fear can be gross. Fear can be imagined, fear can be actual. Many times people in this world, they do things because they imagine fear. It's not there, but they start imagining it. Right? This person will become my enemy, so somehow that I should remove this person from my sight. In imagination, they make enemies. Start imagining. This person is my competitor. This person is like this person is like that. So much in the mind goes on, when a person is conditioned. One imagines all these things. This person hates me, this person does not like me, this person doesn't want that I should be happy. It all goes in the mind. Without we actually making it sure whether the other person is actually thinking like that or not. Isn't it? So much the mind cooks, makes, and then we start thinking like that, feeling like that. All those things come up. So, and in that way we act in a stupid manner also sometimes. Later on we feel bad. Why did I act so? Because we start imagining a problem which did not exist actually. So here, in this situation, he has a problem, and that's why he acted in a way which is not really appreciated by the Lord also. He's saying that in a foolish manner he's acted, afraid of imminent death. Afraid of imminent death. The Brahmastra is similar to the modern nuclear weapon, manipulated by atomic energy. The atomic energy works wholly on total combustibility, and so the Brahmastra also acts. It creates an intolerable heat similar to atomic radiation. But the difference is that the atomic bomb is a gross type of nuclear weapon, whereas the Brahmastra is a subtle type of weapon produced by chanting hymns. It's a different science, and in the days gone by, such science was cultivated in the land of Bharatvarsha. The subtle science of chanting mantra hymns is also material, but it has yet to be known by the modern material scientists. Subtle material science is not spiritual, but it has a direct relationship with the spiritual method, which is still subtler. A chanter of hymns knew how to apply their weapon as well as how to retract it. That was perfect knowledge. But the son of Dronacharya, who made use of this subtle science, did not know how to retract. He applied it, being afraid of his imminent death, and thus the practice was not only improper but also irreligious. As the son of a Brahmana, he should not have made so many mistakes. So many mistakes means what? First mistake was went to the camp and killed the 5 sons. First mistake. Second mistake, took that and then presented to Duryodhana and told the lie. These are the heads of the Pandavas. Third mistake, when Duryodhana chastised him, did not feel any kind of guilt. Should have felt at least that time bad, that what I did was wrong, did not feel the guilt. Now, fourth mistake, when Arjuna is chasing him, he could have done something. Very easy. What is that? Raised up his hands and said, Arjuna, I surrender to you. Because if he would have done so, Arjuna would not have killed him. Kshatriya dharma is anyone surrenders to you, you cannot kill. So the easy solution was that just stop running and tell Arjuna, I am sorry, I surrender to you. Finish. But instead of doing that, he released the Brahmastra. Fourth mistake. Mistake after mistake. Right? Even if let's say Arjuna wanted to kill him, but he would have said, I surrender, Arjuna would not have killed him. Arjuna would have not killed him because Kshatriya cannot kill a surrendered person. So he could have solved the problem easily, would have actually made it, more nice for him. But then he acted wrong again. So many mistakes. And for such gross negligence of duty, he was to be punished by the Lord himself. So because of that, the Lord then said, punishment is to be given. This is something very interesting lesson that Krishna will forgive us once, twice, thrice. But then there is a limit. After that, he'll give a tight slap, very tight slap. And that will make the person come to his senses or her senses. Right? And that's what Krishna does with devotees also, sadhakas. Yeah, as devotees, we all make mistakes. No one will deny so. Right? Knowingly also we make mistakes. Forget about unknowingly making mistakes. Knowingly also we make mistakes. And then sometimes we think, I did so many wrong things and nothing is happening. You see, so many Vaishnava aparadhas I have committed, but I am still chanting. Nothing is happening. Scriptures say when you commit Vaishnava aparadha, it's like your life is finished. But my life is not finished. I am quite good. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then comes a tight slap of Krishna through Maya Devi. And then we realize, oh, Bapre, big problem. Then we start tracing where it all started, where the journey of mistake started, what all wrong things I did. Then one comes to senses a little bit, becomes humble, begs for forgiveness from Krishna. But the problem is, like a dog's tail, it doesn't become, straight. Again, go back to the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then again a slap comes. Then we realize. Again, become little humble. You'll see that when such things happen in the devotee's life, you'll notice it. Their japa improves. Their sadhana improves. They go in front of the deity and start praying. This suddenly recall this, that deities are standing. I should be praying to the deities. So all these things you'll see in the life of a sadhaka. And you should know, when these things are happening, some problem is there. Everything will come. Humility will come. Paying obeisances to Vaishnavas will start, which was stopped actually. That will also start. All those things will start. Suddenly that devotee will start coming from Bhagavatam class. So you should know, all these are indications. Something is wrong happening in this person's life. Krishna has taught him a lesson, and that's why this person has become humble. Krishna has taught something. But after a few days, again one forgets. It's normal again, again do mistakes, and then again comes the slap. So this is how Krishna teaches his devotees. He'll forgive once, twice, thrice. Then no. Now you need to learn. So Krishna here wants to teach Ashvatthama something. Next verse. Nahi asyanyatamam kinchit astram pratyavakarshanam jayastrateja unnatham astragyo hi astratejasa. O Arjuna, only another Brahmastra can counteract this weapon. Since you are expert in the military science, subdue this weapon's glare with the power of your own weapon. So give the solution. For the atomic bombs, there is no counter weapon to neutralize the effects. But by several signs, the action of a Brahmastra can be counteracted. And those who were expert in the military science in those days could counteract the Brahmastra. The son of Dronacharya did not know the art of counteracting the weapon, and therefore Arjuna was asked to counteract it by the power of his own weapon. Arjuna was told to counteract it. We still have time, so we can continue reading. Suta uvacha Shrutva bhagavata proktam falgunah paraviraha sprishtvapastam prakramya brahmam brahmastram sandade. Sri Suda Goswami said, hearing this from the personality of Godhead, Arjuna touched water for purification, and after circumambulating Lord Sri Krishna, he cast his Brahmastra weapon to counteract the other one. So much of patience, He first touched water for purification, then he circumambulated the Lord, and then he cast his Brahmastra. So when we read these pastimes and these episodes, we should learn one thing, that a devotee is not someone who does things in hari-bari, influenced by mode of passion. A devotee is someone who is very, very calm and peaceful, following all the religious ceremonies in a nice manner, having faith that, doing it nicely will please the Supreme Lord. You see, this is not a real, it's not a simple situation or an easy thing for someone. A Brahmastra is shot which can destroy the whole universe actually. But then here is someone who is showing or exhibiting such high levels of patience. Arjuna could have said, Krishna, no time to circumambulate you. Let me just, shoot this Brahmastra. But he finds time to circumambulate Krishna. Not giving any excuse here that Krishna, you will understand. No, I can neglect to do this. Why should I have to circumambulate you? But he's taking time to circumambulate. Circumambulation must have taken few seconds also, right? Few seconds. And he's taking out time for that. So a devotee has faith in Krishna. And one more thing which has to be learned here is, in Bhagavad Gita, the last shloka which is spoken by Sanjaya to Dhritarashtra is, Yatra Yogeshwaraha Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhuti Dhruva Niti Matirmama. That is the shloka. In that, if you see, the last thing which Sanjaya says is, wherever there is a devotee and Krishna, there is going to be morality. Why did he say morality? Niti means morality. Why morality? Because Sanjaya is telling Dhritarashtra that, you see, in general, if a person wants to win, then a person will say, by hook or crook, I will win. Which means I'll break the rules, I'll break the laws, and I'll win. I'll find shortcuts and I'll make it sure that I achieve what I want to achieve. But Sanjaya is making a point here to Dhritarashtra that where the devotees are present and the Supreme Lord are present, they honestly do things and through honesty they emerge victorious. They don't find shortcuts. They don't break the rules and laws. Not that because it is for Krishna's service, let me break all the rules. No, they will take honest means and through honesty, they will win. They will emerge victorious, which is not an easy thing to do, It's easy to break the rules and then win. Very easy. Like if there is a football game, break the rules and win the game. But what is difficult is you follow all the rules and then you win. So he says to Dhritarashtra, where Arjuna and Krishna is there, where devotees are present, they emerge victorious by honest means, not by dishonest means. Because being dishonest and achieving what you want to achieve is very simple. Very easy. Difficult is you be honest and then you achieve the goal. Likewise here, Arjuna could have said, or Arjuna could have behaved in this manner. Let me not observe all these, rules and formularities. Let me just pick the bow, the arrow, shoot. No. The etiquette is, I want to do something in which I need blessings of Krishna. Let me first circumambulate Krishna. Let me follow the codes well. This is what I need to do, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to do. So what lesson we can learn is, even if we have a lot of urgent things to do in life, sometimes we take shortcuts. Because I have so many things to do, we try to, neglect certain things and we We think, because I don't have time, how can I do this? I don't have time. But we should not do that. Stick to that, follow the pattern, follow the norm. Sometimes devotees do that. I have seen that. When so many things are there, then find shortcuts. Chanting of 16 rounds should take 2 hours or 1 hour 50 minutes. Some other, because I have to do so many things. Let's finish this me in 90 minutes. Let me finish this in 75 minutes. Some other finish it, because I want to do something else. Or if you are going down, then you go down in a way that, it's so fast, it is so quick. Don't chant the pranam mantra. Don't be conscious about going down. Just bow down and run from there. So do things in a very, very passionate manner, which is not good. It should be done in very sattvic manner, consciously should be done. And those who do that, in long run, they'll be able to do a lot more. A lot more. Because when you do things in a hurry-burry, you don't do it 100% anyway. And it doesn't bring 100% result also. It won't bring that 100% benefit. So, what's nice? In the whole day, I have done 10 things 100%, or I have done 50 things, but all 5%, 10%, 12%, 15%, 20%. What is more sensible? That I do 10 things, but I do them 100%. So I do two services to Krishna, but I do 100%, rather than I do 100 services to Krishna, and all I do, 5%, 10%, 12%. No point. Right? No point in doing that. So we have to learn from these devotees. They are showing by their example how to practice devotional service. Arjuna is practicing devotional service here, no? Circumambulating the Lord, carrying out the instructions of Krishna. He's doing it so much with calm head, cool head, peacefully. Peacefully. And this must be done. I'm so sorry to say this. In ISKCON, when there is festival time, then you forget that there is something called mode of goodness. Forget it. So much of halla gulla and shouting and this, people breaking the queue, not following the norms, jumping here and there. So much goes on. And where is that goodness and noble qualities? All that goes. Finish. And that is a test. If in such situations we are not able to exhibit patience, forbearance, tolerance, compassion, then that means inside us, what is there is coming out in those situations. So this is something to be learned from devotees here. We see Arjuna is so peaceful and doing everything that he is supposed to do as a devotee, circumambulating Krishna. And then after circumambulating Krishna, he started shooting the Brahmastra to counteract the other one. Samhatyanyonyamubhayos tejasi sharasanvrite avritya rodasi khancha vavridhater kavanivat. When the rays of the two Brahmastras combined, a great circle of fire, like the disk of the sun, covered all outer space and the whole firmament of planets. The heat created by the flash of a Brahmastra resembles the fire exhibited in the sun globe at the time of cosmic annihilation. The radiation of atomic energy is very insignificant in comparison to the heat produced by a Brahmastra. The atomic bomb explosion can at most blow up one globe, but the heat produced by the Brahmastra can destroy the whole cosmic manifestation situation. The comparison is therefore made to the heat at the time of annihilation. What can an atomic bomb do? We know this from history. There was a bomb exploded at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So it affected that city, or it affected few 100 kilometers around that city. But not that the whole globe was affected by it. But here Brahmastra is being said it can annihilate the whole cosmic manifestation, cosmic situation. Next verse. Drishvastra tejas tutayos trilokan pradahan mat mahat dahyamanaha praja sarva samvartam kam amangsata. All the population of the three worlds was scorched by the combined heat of the weapons. Everyone was reminded of the Samvartaka fire, which takes place at the time of annihilation. The three worlds are the upper, lower, and intermediate planets of the universe. Although the Brahmastra was released on this earth, the heat produced by the combination of both weapons covered all the universe, and all the populations on all the different planets began to feel the heat excessively and compared it to that of the Samvartaka fire. No planet, therefore, is without living beings, as less intelligent materialistic men think. 32. रजोपद्रवमालक्ष्य लोकव्यतिकरं च तं मतं च वासुदेवस्य सञ्जाहारार्जुनोद्वयम्. Thus, seeing the disturbance of the general populace and the imminent destruction of the planets, Arjuna at once retracted both Brahmastra weapons, as Lord Sri Krishna desired. The theory that the modern atomic bomb explosions can annihilate the world is a childish imagination. First of all, the atomic energy is not powerful enough to destroy the world. And secondly, ultimately it all rests on the supreme will of the Supreme Lord, because without His will or sanction, nothing can be built up or destroyed. It is foolish also to think that natural laws are ultimately powerful. Material nature's laws work under the direction of the Lord, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. The Lord says that natural laws work under His supervision. The world can be destroyed only by the will of the Lord and not by the whims of tiny politicians. Lord Shri Krishna desired that the weapons released by both Drauni and Arjuna be withdrawn, and it was carried out by Arjuna at once. Similarly, there are many agents of the all-powerful Lord, and by His will only can one execute what he desires. Right? So once Prabhupada was asked by one devotee that Srila Prabhupada, all these different countries, they are manufacturing so much of atomic fuel and they have so much of atomic bombs, weapons. What if they release all these weapons and the whole atmosphere will become filled with atomic energy? They call it I think they call it nuclear pollution. And by that, everything will get destroyed. So Prabhupada said, fine, everything will be destroyed, that's okay. But then, do you think the demigods are going to just sit and watch the game? They are much more powerful, and just by their one click, they can clear up the whole nuclear pollution. Just by their desiring so, the whole nuclear pollution will be gone. So he said that people may think they can do so much in this world, whether it's destruction or creation, but at the end, it's all on Krishna's will, Krishna's desire. Whatever He wants will happen. If He wants, then there'll be Third World War, there'll be massive destruction, but in 2 seconds again, the whole new civilization will come up. It's all in Krishna's hands. And we should know that. We should have understanding of that. Whether nuclear weapon will be exploded, whether a disease like COVID-19 will come up, whatever, it's all in Krishna's hand. If it is there, Krishna is allowing it. When Krishna says no more, that won't be there anymore. It's all in Krishna's hand. So, because he's the controller, he's controlling fully. And we should have faith in that. We should know that. COVID, when it came, my goodness, people were so scared about it. Even devotees were so scared about it. COVID has come. Maybe this is the time of annihilation. Everything will be over. But if you study the scriptures well, why should be that kind of fear? Why it should be there? It should not be there. It should not be there. Because nothing can happen without Krishna's will and control. If it is happening, Krishna wants it. And if Krishna wants it and someone is supposed to suffer because of that and die because of that, whatever you may do, that person will die. Rakhe Krishna, Mare Krishna, Rakhe. And if that person has to survive, whether that person is taking vaccine, whether that person is drinking herbal tea or not, whatever, Giloi and all those things were coming up in those days, people were doing so many things. That person, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. But if someone has to die, that person will die. So here, now Arjuna further. Tata asadya tarasa darunam gautami sutam babandhamarshatam rakshah pashung rashanaya yatha. Arjuna, his eyes blazing in fire, like two red balls of copper, dexterously arrested the son of Gautami and bound him with ropes like an animal. Ashvatthama's mother Kripi was born in the family of Gautama. The significant point in this shloka is that Ashvatthama was caught and bound up with ropes like an animal. According to Sridhar Swami, Arjuna was obliged to catch this son of a Brahmana like an animal as a part of his duty, dharma. This suggestion by Sridhar Swami is also confirmed in the later statement of Sri Krishna. Ashvatthama was a bona fide son of Dronacharya and Kripi, but because he had degraded himself to a lower status of life, it was proper to treat him as an animal and not as a Brahmana. Which means if you look at the code of behavior or etiquette, Arjuna is Kshatriya, Ashvatthama is Brahmana. Arjuna should offer pranams to Ashvatthama. Moreover, Ashvatthama is the son of a spiritual master. Or you say, not spiritual master, martial master, teacher's son. So scriptures say, respect the son of the teacher just like the teacher. Respect the wife of the teacher just like the teacher. So in that way, Arjuna was supposed to be respectful towards Ashvatthama because Ashvatthama is son of the teacher, Ashvatthama is a Brahmana. But here he's behaving in a way he's not respecting, he's actually disrespecting. You catch someone and then you tie that person with a rope. That is not a respectful act. That's a quite disrespectful act. Belittling act, humiliating that person basically. So, question might be raised that why is he behaving like that? He should be respectful. So the answer is because Ashvatthama did not deserve that respect anymore. Though he was a Brahmana, he did not act like a Brahmana. So Arjuna treated him like an animal now because he acted like an animal. So there is nothing wrong on Arjuna's part. Arjuna just behaved the way that person deserved. This is what he deserved. So Arjuna behaved in that manner. Okay, 34. Last verse for today. 34. Shibiraya ninishantam rajva badva ripumbalat raharjunam prakupito bhagavan ambujekshanaha. After binding Ashvatthama, Arjuna wanted to take him to the military camp. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, looking on with his lotus eyes, spoke to Arjuna in an angry mood. Both Arjuna and Lord Shri Krishna are described here in an angry mood. But Krishna's eyes were like balls of red copper. Arjuna's eyes were like balls of red copper, whereas the eyes of the Lord were like lotuses. This means that the angry mood of Arjuna and that of the Lord are not on the same level. Both were angry, but because of one person's anger, the eyes went red, whereas the other person, eyes did not go that red, which means this person is different from that person in nature. This person is transcendental. This means that the angry mood of Arjuna and that of the Lord are not on the same level. The Lord is transcendence, and thus he is absolute in any stage. His anger is not like the anger of a conditioned living being with the modes of qualitative material nature. Because he is absolute, both his anger and pleasure are the same. His anger is not exhibited in the three modes of material nature. It is only a sign of his bent of mind towards the cause of his devotee, because that is his transcendental nature. Therefore, even if he is angry, the object of anger is blessed. He is unchanged in all circumstances. So Krishna, when he exhibits anger, that anger is different from we exhibiting anger. That is spiritual, what we exhibit is material. And that's why both produce different kinds of result. Prabhupada mentions it in Shri Upadeshamrita, Nectar of Instruction, when he talks about the shlok, talks upon the shlok, Pacho Vegam, Manasah Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udropastha Vegam. While he elaborates on controlling the urge of anger, he mentions this, that when we get angry, our body gets polluted, our mind gets polluted, our intelligence gets polluted, our everything gets polluted. The whole system from top to bottom gets polluted, which means it becomes materially infected and one loses one's spiritual power. Spiritual strength comes down by becoming angry. So that's the result of material anger. It pollutes you. But when Krishna gets angry, that anger does not pollute him. When a pure devotee gets angry, that anger does not pollute him or his consciousness. Why? Because that is spiritual. And the anger we exhibit, that is material. So then it pollutes. Same thing with love. In material world, when we exhibit love, then that love is not really love. It is polluting in nature. It is lust. And the same thing in the spiritual world may look the same, but it's not same. It's spiritual. So it does not pollute. It does not pollute. You know? It just offers you a different result, much different than what material results we get while exhibiting those symptoms. So a person who does not understand this Siddhanta well will think that love, this love same, that anger, this anger same. It's just the same. But it's not the same. As spiritual, this is material. It's like 180-degree opposite, not the same. The result is not the same, the experience is not the same, and the experience of both people are not the same. Like in this world, if you are exhibiting anger, then the other person upon whom the anger is shown, that person is going through a miserable time. But in Krishna's situation, if he is exhibiting anger upon someone, that person is getting blessed. That person is getting benefited. Absolutely. So that's so different. So the spiritual qualities cannot be cultivated by having some kind of idea how these qualities look like in the material world. Sometimes we think so. We think so that by cultivating material qualities, we actually become spiritually advanced. Material will remain material, spiritual will remain spiritual. And those qualities are not cultivated by becoming like a materialistic person. Those qualities are cultivated by following the spiritual process of sadhana. That's how we get those qualities. When the heart becomes purified and a person becomes closer to the identity, I am spirit, soul, I am Atma, then all those spiritual qualities will naturally manifest. It's just like uncovering the gold from the coal mine. The gold is there, the coal is there. You remove the coal and the gold shines forth with its glaring effulgence, beautiful effulgence. So likewise, when we remove the material contaminations from our heart by practicing sadhana bhakti, then the soul will shine. And when the soul will shine, then all the good qualities of the soul will also become manifest. People will be able to see that. Otherwise, what will be happening is, we are not on that platform and we try to imitate people who are on that platform, and we try to externally show those qualities which those people have, but we don't really mean those qualities, we only show those qualities. We don't really mean those qualities, we just show them, and we show them circumstantially, depending on some conditions. Means, yes, I am a humble devotee, but in this situation, right? But not in all situations. Yes, I can tolerate, but in this situation, but not in all situations. Yes, I have compassion for fallen souls, but only if they are my congregation members or counselees, right? If they are outside that, then I'm not so compassionate, right? So then that is not the quality of Atma. That is just an exhibition, external exhibition. Because if it is a quality of Atma, then that will be unconditional. Every situation, for every person, in all times, one will be like that. One will be like that. But when it's based on just situation, that I act like this only in this situation, then that is we trying to, be good person, that's all. Only a good person. That's not what a self-realized soul is. A self-realized soul is very different. Self-realized soul means all the qualities exhibited at all times, in all situations, same. Same. Doesn't matter. Not that because I am good to ISKCON devotees, that's why I am good. No, why ISKCON devotees only? Be good to everyone. Why be good to only ISKCON devotees? Good to be good to everyone. Be good to everyone. Be kind to everyone. Be compassionate upon everyone. So that's the quality of soul, Atma. Unconditional. And that can only come in someone by practicing the process of sadhana bhakti. Nice. It will come. Naturally it will come when we will become purified. Otherwise, okay, we know the definition. Humility means this and compassion means this. So then I try to figure out what it means to be humble. Maybe this is what it means to be humble. So let me behave like this, so I become humble. That's not that won't be true humility. That will not be. Because until and unless I am on that pure platform, how can I exhibit those pure qualities? I cannot. I won't be able to. I can only pretend that I am humble. That's what I can do. Right? I can only pretend. So that's good. Let us pretend to be humble. But then not forget that without purifying ourselves, that is not real humility. We have to purify ourselves. We have to follow the process of sadhana bhakti very nicely, so that those qualities emerge in our personality naturally. Those qualities will shine forth. So here it's mentioned, Lord is different. And that's how even the pure devotees of Krishna are. They are very different. They have all these beautiful qualities and unconditionally in all situations they exhibit. So we'll stop here. Any questions or comments? Yes, Ravindra Sachiputra.
Hare Krishna. Two, three simple questions.
Now,
Yeah, 2, 3 simple questions.
yes, Prabhuji, please ask.
He considered that there was no alternative for protection outside of his using the ultimate weapon. This is with reference to Ashvatthama. So the question here is that he considered there was no alternative for protection out of his using the ultimate weapon. So he should know now that when he uses that weapon, the entire cosmic manifestation is going to be destroyed. So he will also be destroyed. So why is this foolishness exposed here?
Okay, good question. So you're saying that when he released that weapon, he should have thought that if I release this weapon, I will also be destroyed. So why am I releasing this weapon? Right? So that's why he said foolishness, no? Now, if a fool will behave like an intelligent person, then why will you call him a fool? That is the foolishness. Not thinking properly about it.
My question was also foolishness.
That's why he's a fool, no? Because he's not thinking, if I release this weapon, then foolishness is exhibited in what always. First of all, he's not thinking, if I have problem with Arjuna, let me kill Arjuna. Why am I releasing a weapon which will destroy the whole universe? That is one big foolishness. Isn't it? Correct. Second thing, that forgetting that this may destroy me also. So here now, if you look at it closely, it can also be taken in this way. Maybe Ashvatthama knew this, but then sometimes people, their mentality of taking revenge becomes so, deep, that they even think of, let me die, there's no problem if this person also dies. So they are happy with that. So here Ashvatthama has become so degraded. I mean, the idea of taking revenge and is so much gone that if it comes at the cost of self-destruction, that is also acceptable to me. That's what we see these people, like when you ask this question, all these people who are suicide bombers and stuff like that. What is their consciousness basically? Totally foolish, isn't it? Keep destroying themselves and getting some kind of happiness that because of this we will be able to destroy others also and achieve something. So that is foolishness, utter foolishness, Prabhuji. Yes.
Second question, Prabhuji, was that it was so fierce, that means the Brahmastra we are talking about. It was so fierce that Arjuna thought his own life in a danger. His own life in a danger. Why he did not think of the others' life also in danger?
Sorry, can you please come again, Prabhuji?
Yeah, Prabhuji, it was so fierce, that is the Brahmastra was so fierce that Arjuna thought his own life in danger. So why he thought about only his own life in danger? Why not collective thinking of others also? Why this line has been mentioned? There must be some deep meaning.
Which line, Prabhuji?
This is 21 translation.
31.
21.
21. Okay, I have to go back to 21. 21.
Translation.
It's in the translation.
Yeah.
Okay. 21. Thereupon a glaring light spread in all verses, so we thought his own life in danger, and so began to address Krishna.
Why not collective thinking of everyone? Like, what is the thing in this world? What is the teaching in this world? Is it that they say, like, you give examples like sometimes that when the house is on fire, first you save yourself, then you can save others. Like we have in an airplane, pressure, oxygen mask falls down. So first they teach now that first you put the mask yourself, then save your child who is sitting next to you. Is it something like that? That first save my life, and then I will be able to counteract the Brahmastra. Can we take that subtle view?
No. See, the thing is here, we should understand one thing, that when Ashvatthama released that weapon, if you read the verses following that, when Ashvatthama released that weapon, we are now trying to understand how Brahmastra functions. When Ashvatthama released that weapon had not engulfed the whole creation yet. I mean, it was released. You can imagine it in this way. There is an energy ball, and you will release that energy ball, and that energy ball is shot in a particular direction, towards a particular object. But then that energy ball is increasing in its size. So while the discussion is going on between Krishna and Arjuna, at the point when Arjuna started thinking about it, that energy ball was small in size. It had not yet expanded to cover the whole universe yet, or the whole creation yet. However, meanwhile, it was going bigger. So when Arjuna spoke that statement, or Arjuna started addressing Lord Shri Krishna, at that time the size of the area or space covered by the Brahmastra was pretty small. However, as time went, few moments passed, then it started covering the whole universe. So if you look at it from that point of view, in the initial stage, Arjuna felt it was an attack on him alone.
Yeah, that's the point. He must have thought attack on his own.
But then as the discussion is going on, and later on Krishna is revealing to Arjuna that this is a Brahmastra shot by Ashvatthama, and Prabhupada explains in the purport, this is going to cover the whole universe, then Arjuna must have also understood it's not about me alone, it's about everyone's life.
That thought came later on. So this was the first.
So because if you read it,
Immediate thought.
growing in size, it's becoming bigger and bigger, so then the understanding is also becoming more enhanced, that earlier it was danger to me alone,
Yeah.
now it's a danger for the whole.
The flow of the verses ahead, clarifies this point.
Yes.
Last question, Prabhuji, you said, last question, simple one. Anyone who understands these three activities, that means I'm talking of those three activities of Purusharthas, that is Mahavishnu, Vyardhavashya, Kishore. You said anyone who understands these three activities is eligible for liberation. So why you did not say is here I'm treating liberation as moksha? I mean I don't know, but here I'm treating liberation as moksha, dharma, not the moksha which devotees aspire for. So three activities eligible. Why you did not say that is liberating?
Again you have to tell me the purport which you are reading.
नहीं ये तो आपने general बोला ना, second canto.
क्या बोला?
You said the second canto is the creation full of material world. Material world is created.
One who knows about the three Purushas.
Yeah. So you said one line. Anyone who understands this, we have also read.
Anyone who understands three Purusha avatars
is eligible for liberation. So here I'm assuming liberation to be moksha. And why you did not say that anyone who understands these three activities is liberated only? So what is the difference?
I did not get your question. Can you speak a bit clearly into the mic first? Because
Second canto पे आप बोल रहे थे general is creation of full of material world. You said material world is created by Purusha Avtaras, and then you named those three Purusha Avtaras. Then you said one line, anyone who understands these three activities of Purusha Avtaras is eligible for liberation. So why you did not say anyone who understands these three activities is liberated only? Why you did not say? So my question is, are there any steps involved between being eligible for liberation and then getting liberated? Is it same, or there are some more steps after the eligibility of liberation?
Okay, so the point is that if one knows about three Purusha avatars, then I said that person becomes eligible for liberation, right? And you said why I did not say that person becomes liberated. Eligible for liberation means will become liberated, no?
I don't know that.
First eligibility will come, then liberation will come, right?
So that's when I'm asking you a question. Is there some more steps between eligibility for liberation and attaining liberation?
No, you become eligible, so you become liberated.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Like for example, if you want to enter a room, so first the thing is you open the door. Now if the door has opened, then you enter, right? What extra thing has to be done? Just take a step inside. So eligible for liberation means you become liberated. That's what it means, right? Now if I say you crack this exam, then you become eligible to study in this institute. So what is the next thing? What do you have to do? If you are eligible, then you get admission, right? That's the next thing. That's the next step. So there is nothing much extra to do. You are eligible. Now you walk in. Correct, Prabhuji?
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, Mataji, is that a question or a comment? Okay, question or comment? Question. Srila Prabhupada gave the difference between anger of Lord and Arjuna, but there is a difference in anger of devotee and regular people. We can see no symptoms as mentioned in Gita. We can see no symptoms as mentioned in Gita here, you mean to say, in this episode, right? Question is, why did Srila Prabhupada not mention the difference of a devotee and a regular person anger? Well, now why did Prabhupada did not mention that? How can I say so? I mean, that's his writing is his, whatever Krishna inspires him to write or whatever he thinks is important to be spoken, he's speaking. So why did he not mention that? I cannot say, Mataji. But what you said is correct. There is a difference between anger of devotee and normal person. Anger of devotee is transcendental, just like Krishna's anger is transcendental. But then Prabhupada is here using this episode to highlight the difference between a Jiva and a Krishna and the Supreme Lord Krishna. That Jiva and Krishna, they may both exhibit anger. But because both of them exhibit anger, they don't become same or equal. If an impersonalist reads this, An impersonalist may say, you see, God is angry, Arjuna is angry, both are same. May say, right, that Krishna being God should be very peaceful, calm. Why should he be angry? Arjuna is Jiva, he can become angry. So Prabhupada is again attacking impersonalism or those thoughts of Advaitavad, non-dualism, that Krishna and Arjuna should be, though they are looking same, they are not same. So one thing is there, you see, let me tell you something honestly. Srila Prabhupada's purpose, they have a lot of, you know, they have a lot of conclusions, different kinds of teachings Prabhupada gives to us. But something very essential that Prabhupada is doing through his purpose is he is defeating impersonalism and Mayavad. All his purports are geared in that direction because he has written it for that goal, that is the purpose. And when it comes to, Vaishnava behavior, and then how a devotee should be, how a strict sadhaka should be, how an advanced devotee should be. Prabhupada has put it, but Prabhupada has not highlighted that so much. Prabhupada has definitely put it in different places in the books. He writes about them, but he doesn't highlight them. So you will see that even he does not bring those points in all the purports. But in all the purports, he will bring the point of defeating impersonalism, Mayavad, So every acharya, they have a very specific mood and mission. Every acharya. And when we study their writings, we hear their lectures, we can make out that though they speak about everything, but there is something that they emphasize a lot. Too much. They will be like always hammering on that point again and again and again and again. So when you see Bhakti-Vinod Thakur's writing, you'll find something like that. When you see Bhakti Siddhanta, you'll find something like that. When you see Prabhupada, you'll find something like that. So when we read the writings of Bhakti Siddhanta, he was not so much hammering, the way Prabhupada was hammering those points, but he was hammering those Vaishnavas who are not behaving like Vaishnavas. Bhakti Siddhanta was hammering on that point because, the time when he was preaching in that society, that was needed. That people were in the garb of Vaishnava, but they were not behaving like Vaishnava. So Bhakti Siddhanta was very much against the caste Goswamis, the, Nityananda Vamsha followers, Advaita Vamsha followers, and all that, banging them again and again and again and again and again, But Prabhupada does not bang them so much, He bangs on the impersonalists and he bangs on materialistic people. That's what he does. Correct? But that is also true. That lesson can be taken that a devotee's anger is different from a non-devotee's anger. Prabhupada, he doesn't so much speak in that line every time and everywhere. His mode is different. Different acharyas, they have different roles to play, so they come and they do what they're supposed to do. What they're supposed to do, they do. Thank you so much, everyone. See you on Thursday. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhakti Vrinda ki Jai. Grantraj Srimad-bhagavatam ki Jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.